You're listening to the Holistic Lifestyle Guide podcast, the show that guides you on your holistic lifestyle journey to a healthy body, mind, and soul aligned with nature. Hello, and welcome to episode number 61 of the Holistic Lifestyle Guide podcast. This episode is about the 4 most common daily planner mistakes. So, using a daily planner, this is one of the keys to creating any lifestyle and getting the benefits from that lifestyle. I am such a big proponent for using planners that I started creating my own and selling them on Etsy. But I know that just having a planner doesn't mean that you are going to get any benefit from it, because you must use it correctly and avoid the common mistakes. So if you've been using a planner for a while, but you find that you aren't really getting benefit from it, then this is for you. Maybe you're losing interest, maybe you just don't really see why you should be using it every day. If this sounds like you, then it might come down to some common mistakes that many people make when using a planner. So let's get right into these common planner mistakes. The first one is that you are using more than one planner. This is a very common mistake for a few reasons. Maybe you like to keep your personal and professional life separate, so you need one for each. Maybe you are a planner addict, which I am guilty of. Maybe you buy more of them that you can even use. And while this is understandable, it can be really hard to focus on more than one daily planner at a time. So find a planner that allows you to organize both your personal and professional life, whether that means using the monthly calendar for your personal appointments, weekly calendar for work-related tasks, or getting a planner that has blank pages to write down notes and to-do lists as you need to. I admit that this is a very hard mistake to fix. Although I prefer printable planners, I can't resist a beautiful hardcover spiral-bound planner. I try to avoid stores like Barnes & Noble or Michael's for this very reason. I can walk in there and find 10 of them within a minute that I just have to have. So there is one small plus to having a lot of planners, though, I should add. If you buy an undated planner, you're not forced to use it immediately, and then you can stockpile them. Again, I'm guilty of this. So that in the future, when you need a new one, you can pick the one that you are really feeling at that moment. So the point of this mistake, to learn from this mistake, is just that if you buy a lot of dated planners, you'll get overwhelmed. And I can't count how many times I've bought a dated planner, started using it, found another one that I love just as much, started using that one too, and before I knew it, I had multiple daily planners that I was trying to use for sometimes the same thing, sometimes different things, but either way, it got overwhelming and they started to pile up, and I ended up not even using any of them all the way through. I ended up just realizing this mistake, and that's around the time when I started making my own printable planners. I really prefer the undated ones because you can print them anytime you need a new one, and you're not wasting paper, you're not wasting money buying all of these fancy planners that if they're dated and you don't use them, you cannot use them. Or maybe you can use them for different purposes, but you'd have to go through and change all the dates or scribble things off and write something else there. I mean, they're technically usable, but if you're not getting the use out of it that the thing was intended to do, which was to help you plan things. So how can you plan things when you're not using the planner the way it was designed? So that is the first mistake. Not to use the same, or not to use multiples, especially 3 or more. That's where you really start getting into trouble. All right, so let's move on to the second mistake, is that you don't love the planner that you are using. So another mistake people often make is buying one that doesn't suit your needs. Like I said, it's tempting to buy pretty planners when you see them in stores, but what I have found is more often than not, the cover attracts me to it, while the inside pages leave me disappointed. So you probably don't want to waste money on another expensive planner. Just think about how it is affecting you when using a planner that you don't like. You probably never get excited about opening it. You find it awkward to write in for whatever reason. You don't benefit because it doesn't have everything you're looking for. So in this case, it is worth the money to buy one that you absolutely fall in love with. This is another reason why I love printable planner pages so much. You can build your own planner using a ring binder and insert any interior pages that suit your needs. These pages are only a few dollars. You can print as many as you want for the rest of your life. You can mix and match the pages that work for you. So it's best if you can design your own custom planner that you will love because you will use every page. There will be no filler pages that you feel forced to use. It's just better all around, I think. I talk a lot about printables. In fact, that's one of the biggest parts about my business. It's the main way that I make money, selling them on Etsy. So I will leave a link in the show notes for you to check out. I've got a couple articles on how to use planners and journals and things like that, the printable version. And then I'll also leave a link to my Etsy shop. So just in case you're curious and you want to see what kind of stuff you can buy that will help you with your life, there's planners for anything at all, and there's going to be something for you. So I will leave a link in the show notes to check that out. So moving on to number 3, this mistake is a good one. This is that you rarely remember to use it daily. So a daily planner is exactly that. It's something that you use daily. If you're just using it once a week to write in your appointments or your to-do list, but then you don't check it every day, you're probably missing out on the entire purpose of using a planner. Therefore, you are not getting the benefits that planners provide. You need to at least open it up every day so that you know what tasks you have for that day, so you can check on your appointments, so you can fill out information on any of the daily pages that your planner might have. This is how you will get the most out of it. And this is also why sometimes when you have too many planners, you'll go back and you'll try to use them all daily, but you find that you wrote the same thing in one planner, and then you're like, well, I don't need to write it in all of them because that's just redundant. And then you really start to realize that if you only had one and if you remember to use that one every day, that is how you get the most benefit out of using the planner. And now we're to the last mistake, and that is it is being used like a journal. So while some planners do have journaling pages, it shouldn't really be used as a journal. So try to keep your planner and your journal separate and use them for different things. This allows you to focus on what you are using instead of trying to journal in a very small space in your planner, which doesn't help with, if you're having a major issue you want to write about. Planners don't give hardly any space for journaling. You might get a column. You're lucky if you get a full page. And this is one example where having a separate journal and planner is a good idea. When you need to stay organized, get things done, reach your goals, things like that, a planner is essential. And when you want to write out your thoughts, express yourself, and work on your mental health, that's where a journal is essential. So it's tempting to buy ones that are both. And, I even have ones that are both, but I do provide a full page for the journaling. And also with printables, you can print as many pages as you need. Therefore, you can literally make the journal section as big as you want by printing more pages. So now that you know the common mistakes to avoid, you might be ready to create your own custom planner and start fresh right away. So I mentioned my Etsy shop. I have over 130, I think, products in my shop. And most of those are planner pages, journal pages, workbooks, checklists, and lots of other fun stuff that will help you create a healthy lifestyle. It'll help you to improve your life, reach your goals, transform any part of your life that you want. So you can create your own printable planner binders. So these are, like I said, almost any subject you can think of. If you're trying to improve your physical health, if you're trying to eat better, if you're trying to track the food that you eat, I've got that stuff. If you're trying to improve your mental health, I've got a lot of mental health planners and journals. Things for anxiety, things for depression, things for meditation, and more. I've also got things for spiritual health because that's what holistic means, physical, mental, and spiritual. So I cover all of that. So I have spiritual workbooks, a variety of spiritual things. I also have daily to-do lists because that's really the core of planners. That's really why we use planners in the first place. So almost all of the things that I have will include some sort of list that you either should go down or that you can create yourself. I also have business or personal type things. So if you run your own business, I've got stuff for that. I've got some planners for goal setting, because that's really the other main reason why people would want to use a planner, is to plan your goals and to actually make your goals happen, because it's a step-by-step thing. You can't just think of a goal and be like, I'm just going to work towards this goal. You have to have a plan. You have to have steps, because a goal is not really just one thing. It's a series of daily actions, at least weekly, if not daily actions, that all lead up to the goal happening. And that is also why lifestyle creation needs to be done that way, because many people get overwhelmed when they think of changing their lifestyle. They're like, okay, so I want to change my body, my mind, and my soul. I'm going to start doing all this tomorrow. And then they don't really have a plan. They don't have any information organized. They don't have a way to break those steps down into baby steps. And that is one of the best reasons for using a planner, is to change your life, create your lifestyle. So I will leave a link down below in the show notes for you to check out all of the planners and journals and workbooks and stuff that I have in my Etsy shop. And I hope you learned something from this episode. If you are a daily planner addict like me, I pretty much made most of these mistakes, if not all of them, before. So if I can learn from them, then you can too. So that's it for this week's episode of the Holistic Lifestyle Guide podcast. Don't forget to join me next week for another episode. And thank you so much for listening.